in search of projects where state assistance will result in construction. Over the months, they have considered hundreds of proposals.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the February 16th, 2010 Board of Selectmen meeting. Mr. Clerk, could we have the roll, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. All 5 selectmen are present, as is Mr. Andrews.
Okay. Ms. Clerk, any announcements?
Yes, sir, there is. First announcement this evening is the flu clinic, the H1N1 vaccine. When? Thursday, February 18th, 2010, at the Multi-Service Center, room 316, top floor. Time 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. or until supplies last. All ages, no charge. Sponsored by the Wareham Board of Health. So again, the H1N1 vaccine, Thursday, February 18th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I think that's it.
Okay. Is there anybody here this evening who wishes to speak before the board? Sir, come on up. If you'd have a seat, speak directly into the microphone, and introduce yourself for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Mike Flaherty. Live in Precinct 1. My first time coming here. Not sure what the protocol is. I just have a bunch of questions. I was hoping to get some clarification on some things that I've read in the news recently. Is that what you do here?
Well, let's just see where we go.
Okay. All right. Article A. I'm sorry. $50,000 that we're supposed to get for the library, the seed money. Have we received that?
What seed money?
It says here, under an article called Friends Group Refuses to Help Wareham Free Library.
No, we haven't received that yet.
We haven't. Do we plan to? Is there any?
Of course, yeah, we plan to.
Okay. With regard to making donations directly to the library instead of through a nonprofit, are those tax deductible?
Yes.
They are. Oh, good.
That's one thing. As a matter of fact, that's a misnomer out there, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
If anyone, and we have asked people to make them, if they want to make a donation, I know at Christmas time I had asked people to make it, you write to the town of Wareham, and then in the memo or whatever you write for the library, for books for the library, for what, just to the library in general, whatever you want it to go for, put it in there, and it goes into a dedicated account over at the town hall that can only be used for what you give it as a gift for. That is tax deductible. A municipality, if you gave it to the schools or anything else, a municipality is a tax exempt organization for the purposes of gifts and things. So it is tax deductible.
Thank you. And if folks give to this account, and is there such a report that you can look up later and say, yeah, the town received X amount of donations for this particular purpose, and they dispersed it exactly for that purpose?
Yes, there is.
There is.
The town accountant is required to fill out that report for a number of purposes, and there is a ledger for that account. There's actually an account number. I'm sure if you contact the town administrator, it could give you the account number that's used for that. And Freedom of Information Act, anybody can ask for the ledger for that account.
Does it cost money to file the Freedom of Information Act?
For a page, I think it's like 50 cents or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Nothing to file.
No, it doesn't cost anything to file, but we have to copy.
Gotcha.
There's a copying fee for a page or two or whatever.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
With regard to this is an article called Town Council looking into Facebook fundraiser. and I'll just read the first paragraph. Town Administrator Mark Andrews has contacted Town Council to investigate the legality of a fundraising effort over the weekend on behalf of the Friends of Wareham Free Library. Do we know where that stands?
I would think that if it's...
I'll let Mr. Andrews answer. Is that true? I'm not even sure.
The request was made and it's before council.
Question. What does that mean?
It means it's under investigation with council, and it's not for public disclosure at this time.
Well, it means also that Mr. Andrews has sent a request to town council to ask him if, in fact, this Facebook thing can be used to advertise for a town organization.
So we haven't heard back yet. Is
No,
what
that's
I'm
saying.
getting
We haven't
at.
heard
Yeah.
back
That's
yet.
fine.
Was asked, the question has been asked, because we don't know.
Okay. Let's see. This is a quote taken from a local website, written by a man named Dick Wheeler, regarding Vote April 6th. He says, I met with Walter Cruz yesterday and provided him with pins. I met with Walter Cruz yesterday and provided him with pins, decals, and lawn signs for all of the selectmen. Then at Walter's urging, I went straight to the TA, who applauds the effort as one that is sorely needed. And this is that, to get out the vote and so on and so forth. Is it fair to say that Vote April 6th has the support of the Board of Selectmen and the Town Administrator?
You know what? These are election political questions. If you have a question directly related to the business of the board or administration, we'll answer them, but political questions we're not going to discuss.
Okay.
Bruce, I'd like to answer that question.
Well,
Is that right?
actually, we're going to move on.
Briefly.
We're going to move on. Go ahead to your next question.
Sure. Will the Board of Selectmen be putting on will the Board of Selectmen be putting a non-binding question on the April ballot regarding the Westfield project?
Well, we're going to discuss that this evening, Ashley.
And that's all I have.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else want to speak to the board tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Flaherty.
I'm sorry?
I just said thank you to the
Oh.
gentleman.
Nobody else, okay. Before we move on to the next order of business, I wasn't here again last week, and I want to thank Mr. Cronin again for helping out and acting as Chair Pro Tem once again, and I also want to thank him for addressing the issues concerning the district attorney. And since I wasn't here, if the board will indulge me for 1 minute, I'd like to just briefly make my own comments regarding that whole issue. Mr. Cronin painstakingly and very carefully read both letters, the correspondence that we received from the district attorney's office, and he went to great lengths to communicate exactly and specifically what those two letters communicated to the board. There's been, over the last week or so, a great deal of discussion, primarily in one of the media, the Standard Times, that somehow the board came short in its response because it didn't formally or specifically apologize for the alleged infractions. If the Standard Times or any other party had an interest, they could have simply received a copy, requested a copy. It's a public document, both of them, and read those letters, or they could have just simply listened to the chair last week. And if they had done so, they would have understood that no actual request for an apology was made in either of those two letters. Therefore, no apology was made because it was not part of or parcel of either of those two letters I suspect the reason that we were not requested to formally apologize is because an apology is no legal remedy at all.